Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to be here. We're very grateful, and I'm particularly grateful to you for allowing us in your home. We had the privilege of talking briefly with our senators, and we're grateful. Both of you are here, some of them. Thank you for your leadership. We wouldn't be here without you, and I'll talk more about all of you in a moment.
Can I translate?
Interpret.
Can I interpret for you?
Not yet. I have to say, and thank you to Dolores Huerta.
Oh, all right, great. Dice, gracias a todos por estar aquí hoy. Es un honor estar aquí y le da gracias a las personas que están aquí, a Carolina por dejarnos estar en su casa, Jovita, a los senadores que están hoy aquí y a Dolores Huerta por estar hoy aquí con nosotros.
You were telling us earlier of your experience. A lot of kids in this community. You're on a well. You were told recently that the well was going to go dry just in 2 years. You have no other capacity to get water except to purchase water or to have the support of the state to provide water bottles, jugs, on a bi-monthly basis.
Dice, tú me estabas platicando, Carolina, adentro que hay muchos niños en esta comunidad y que tú tuviste una experiencia donde se secó el pozo y no tenías una opción para tener agua y hay muchos niños y dice, y tuviste a alguien que vino y arregló la pompa y te dijeron que tendrías agua para casi 2 años y eso no te deja con ninguna otra opción, que a no tener agua o ocupas la ayuda del Estado para obtener agua embotellada, pero también una solución a largo plazo. ¿Puedes platicar sobre eso?
Oh, sí. Sí, pues, primeramente quiero dar gracias y para mí es un privilegio que él está aquí. Me siento muy contenta. Somos personas de, como le digo, sencillas, humildes y pues le agradezco que esté aquí, que haya mirado este lugar donde antes no se fijaba nadie. Para mí es un orgullo, de verdad le agradezco con todo mi corazón. Una persona como usted.
She said, first of all, thank you so much. It's a privilege for me, for you to be here and for you to visit my community. I've been in this community for a long time and not very many people have paid attention to it. So it's a privilege and I am proud that you are here today to look at our community. We are humble people, we are simple people, and we really appreciate you being here today to pay attention to what others have forgotten.
Sweet. I appreciate it. You, where do you live? And tell us a little bit about your similar experience. You just got a $30,000 bill,
Yes.
which I can't even believe, to redo your well, new pump. Tell us a little bit about that.
A nosotros en mi casa se terminó el agua, estuvimos 3 meses, vinieron a ponernos una nueva pompa, el costo fueron $30,000.
In her house, their well went dry and they had contractors come out and it cost them $30,000.
Y hay 2 razones por las que nosotros no podemos tener agua de pompa. Se nos puede ir en cualquier momento, son falla de la electricidad por la pompa.
There are a number of reasons why our well would go dry. One of them includes electricity. If we have no electricity or electricity goes out, the well stops pumping, so no water.
Y como los rancheros, ustedes miran, son puros field alrededor. Ellos, como había sequía, hicieron pozos más hondos, agarraron más agua.
And as you've noted as you drove in or came into the community, we're surrounded by agriculture. During drought, they drilled deeper wells. That meant that our wells went dry sooner.
Y nuestros pozos, como eran más pequeños, quedaron sin agua. So hay que escarbar mucho más.
So we have to
para
go
poder
deeper
tener el agua.
to be able to have water.
Yeah, ese es el problema.
That's our problem.
And tell me more about, I mean, you were saying that in more nuanced terms, when you turn on the tap, sometimes it's brown, you said sometimes it looks like almost milk coming through. You talked about the impact it has on your washing machines and how it can clog the washing machine. Explain a little bit more detail the impact of not having what so many of us take for granted, and that's the ability just to turn on the tap and have clean, safe drinking water.
Dice, adentro le estaban platicando sobre el impacto del agua y cómo sale el agua. Sale café, sale arenita, sale como leche.
Lechosa.
Ajá, dice, pueden hablar un poquito más sobre el impacto de no tener agua limpia en sus casas para que los demás que tenemos el privilegio de tener agua en nuestras casas sepamos cuál es la realidad. So, sí pueden hablar las dos sobre eso.
Yo inclusive mi lavadora ahorita está saliéndose agua de las mangueras de abajo porque tiene un sedacito y se tapa de arena.
So she said, for example, my washing machine right now at home, the hoses that go into the washing machine, they're blocked because of sediment that clogs the water to go into the washing
Ya van
machine.
2 lavadoras que tengo que comprar.
So then I have to purchase I've had to purchase 2 washing machines.
No puedes tener una hielera
You can't have a
que
fridge
haga ice.
to make ice.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so tienes que ir a la store, comprar tu bolsa de ice,
You have to go to the store and buy a bag of ice.
porque no puedes en tu hielera, la línea se tapa.
Because you can't
En
do
mi
it in
casa
your
es la
fridge.
experiencia.
That's the experience in my house.
Y pues yo pasé una experiencia muy mal, muy triste. Gracias a Amanda que nos ayudó con agua en el proceso que ella vino. Nosotros no teníamos nada de agua. Me sentí tan contenta que me puse a llorar cuando trajeron muchos aguas. Cuando yo no tenía ni para lavarme las manos, nada. Para cocinar, para nada. Los niños iban al baño y pues no teníamos con qué bajarle. Después me dio un poco de pena y tuve que ir a pedir agua en un bote. Por 3 semanas estuvimos no agua. Con 5 hijos.
Carolina has 5 kids, and when her well went completely dry, she felt sort of a sense of desperation for not having water, and we worked to bring cases and cases of bottled water. At that point, there was no support for the community. She mentioned Amanda, who works with us, brought and delivered a truckload full of water bottles. She has 5 kids in her home, and that was what they had access to be able to wash their hands. And they went like that for 3 weeks.
How did you bathe? How did you
¿Cómo se
shower?
bañaban?
Todo empezó el agua como hacer mucho aire y salía mucha arena. Cuando ya no salió nada. Pero pues duramos días que no nos bañábamos. Para hacer qué hacer, pues y yo duré como una semana, no quería pedir agua porque pues me daba pena, pero me miré en la necesidad de que tuve que estar pidiendo a las casas con un bote de agua.
So she said when they didn't have any water, the way it happened is first it started the water, when you turn the tap, threw in a lot of air and then a
Yeah.
lot of dirt,
Right.
and then it went dry. And they didn't bathe for several days, and she was somewhat embarrassed and shy to ask neighbors. So to bathe, she took a bucket of water to her neighbors to fill up water to bring it
warm
back
water.
into the home.
Con mangueras,
With water
conectan
hose.
el señor Cano, con una manguera la pasaba por mi fensa para yo agarrar agua cuando
So
venía de
Ray Gano, who lives across the street, would allow a water hose to go into her house so that they could have water in the
Yeah.
property.
Can't
So
make
es
it
un
up.
gran problema.
Unbelievable.
Poníamos un tambo para traer con botes.
So they would have a big jug of water, like a trash can almost, like that type of, to
Yeah,
have
you
water
store it
there. Yeah.
Wow.
Y luego yo me sentí muy triste porque cuando agarré poquita agua, yo le dije a mi hijo, le dije, te tienes que bañar con poquita, y le llevé un bote. Y mi hijo no se bañó con toda, me dice, mami, te dejé poquita para ti, eso me partió el corazón.
It's been a heartbreaking situation to deal with. For example, when we didn't have water, she filled up a jug of water for her son to take a shower. And his son came out and said, Mom, I didn't use all of the water, I left half of it for you.
Yeah. Sweet.
So es un gran problema, la agua es una gran necesidad. Nos daría gusto que la trajeran de la ciudad.
It's a big problem. It would be good to have the extension from the city out to the community.
Yeah. Which is happening.
Yes, que es algo que va a pasar.
Y estamos muy agradecidos porque nos dieron esa agua y es un beneficio bastante. A mí me ha ayudado mucho con mis hijos porque en este tiempo toman mucha agua y pues ya no estoy gastando porque es, como le digo, para comprar el agua es un poquito difícil y mucha ayuda, estoy muy agradecida.
Just I'm very thankful that they get bottled water delivered to each home in the community as a short-term solution until a long-term solution is in place.
Those are the
And
empty ones.
that you see the empty ones. They're very thankful for that because, as you know, if you don't have water for the kids, especially on hot days like today, they drink a lot of water. It helps us to have that program so that the kids can have something to drink.
Yeah. A mí me ayuda mucho el agua que nos están trayendo porque yo soy deshabilitada de mis huesos, entonces yo no puedo ir a la tienda, cargar un garrafón de agua o un 24 de botellas de agua porque no puedo. Entonces ese es otro problema para al otro lado de los que estamos deshabilitados.
So, for example, for me, the program is very beneficial. I have a disability, and I can't just go to the store and carry a 5-gallon jug of water or carry a 24-pack case of water. So it helps that it's delivered at my home.
Yes.
Give us a sense of how bad this problem is, even beyond this community right here.
Yeah.
You've been working on this for years. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, the issue, the lack of safe drinking water doesn't just impact Tombstone. As you know, more than 1 million Californians don't have access to safe drinking water today. And those are just the 1 million that aren't on private wells like Tombstone. There are hundreds of Tombstone territories in California, but we don't know that information. The water isn't tested. There sometimes are not projects in the pike. And so communities throughout California and the San Joaquin Valley and beyond have had to deal with not having safe drinking water, living with the fear of contamination, living with the fear of your well going dry, not having bottled water, not having the economic means to be able to have bottled water in your home. It is a scale of the crisis, and residents, Jovita and Carolina, who are here today, and the residents who are here from communities in Tulare County and in Fresno County and beyond have been fighting for years. The bill that you will sign today is more than a 10-year fight in the making. It is huge. It is pretty significant, and we look forward to swift implementation to start making sure that all Californians have access to safe drinking water.
Yeah.
Senator, excuse me.
No,
Dolores.
yeah, my own daughter pays $200 a month for her water bill.
$200 a month.
But she has to buy water.
200
She has
por
to buy water.
mes por agua. Y tiene que comprar agua.
So she's paying for water she can't drink.
Exactly, and just like her, there are, hundreds of thousands of people that are in the same situation as she is. That they have to pay the water bill, but they can't drink the water. They have to buy the water.
Y hay muchas situaciones donde sí están conectados a un sistema y no es agua limpia. Y aunque no puedan tomar esa agua, tienen que pagar un bill mensual.
Y luego aparte nosotros hicimos la prueba del pozo y salió que tenía nitratos y pues con todo eso también yo tengo miedo que se me termine el agua, trato de cuidarla mucho, de como no desperdiciarla, la cuido y pues también estoy viviendo con ese miedo que se termine.
Yeah, she said we did a well sample test at Carolina's well, and it came back with really high elevated levels of nitrate. She said, so not only do I have to conserve my water and make sure my water doesn't go dry, but I'm also dealing with the fear of being exposed to nitrate.
Senator, you've been at this for years trying to solve this. You've had a few bites of the apple. Finally,
Finally, we're here.
we're here. Tell us about how did you identify this as a top issue? Why did you care so much about this issue?
Well,
Mr. Money, can I translate?
sí, por
Okay,
favor.
thank you. Le preguntó al senador, el senador tiene años luchando para asegurar agua limpia para todos. Le pregunta al gobernador, dinos un poquito por qué te interesaste, porque es una prioridad.
Gracias. Quisiera decir gracias por su hospitalidad y por su presencia, ayudar con la información importante para nosotros a levantar esta solución. I just want to thank them for their hospitality, for opening their home, and for giving us the information. But Governor, in response to your question, this has been a collective effort. The community that's here today, the community-based organizations. Your question to me about my interest, I have to give a lot of credit to one of my greatest teachers, Dolores Huerta. I had the honor of working with the union for many years, a few years ago, and we've continued a collaboration that looks to what we can do to improve the quality of life for the people that are harvesting our food and working in these fields in this heat. So I just want to thank you for your leadership. Governor Newsom, in his inaugural speech, made a commitment to get this solution done. He made the commitment again when he introduced the budget in January of this year. And I don't know if you know this, but the first partner, your wife, at the women's Honoring Women in California, she also mentioned in her speech the importance of getting clean, safe drinking water to families. So your leadership in helping us push this over the line, I just want to say thank you. We wouldn't be here without your persistent commitment to making this happen. So thank you.
Dice el senador Manning que él le agradece. Esto fue una colaboración entre residentes, entre la legislatura, entre organizaciones que han apoyado esta lucha. Le da las gracias a la señora Dolores Huerta por sus enseñanzas. El senador trabajó con la Unión de Campesinos hace muchos años, donde se conocieron y aprendió mucho de la señora Dolores Huerta. Pero también le da las gracias al gobernador por su liderazgo. No estaríamos hoy aquí si no fuera por el liderazgo que demostró el gobernador. Cuando entró a su puesto, a su oficina en enero de este año, lo primero que dijo es que esto era una prioridad para él, para el Estado. Volvió a demostrar esa dedicación para esta propuesta cuando introdujo su propuesta del presupuesto estatal, donde el presupuesto estatal incluía esta medida. Lo volvió a hacer cuando trabajó con la legislatura para hacer esto posible. Dice, es más, no sé si le dice al gobernador que no sabe si él sabe, pero su esposa también habló sobre la importancia y prioridad de obtener agua limpia. Y le da las gracias al gobernador por apoyar esto y por su liderazgo, porque esto es importante para las personas que cosechan en nuestros files, que trabajan en esta área, en este calor. Y estamos hoy aquí por eso.
Gracias. And if I could just add, I just want to acknowledge Senator Caballero, Assemblymember Bloom, who are co-authors and collaborators in this effort, and then a couple who aren't here today, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, who's been a partner in this, and our local Senator Melissa Hurtado, who is here in spirit. She's represented here today with her staff. She's been a great supporter of this effort as well. And then our President Pro Tem, Tony Atkins, and our Speaker, Anthony Rendon, have also worked with the Governor to land what will be a historic signing today. So, otra vez, mil gracias.
También le da las gracias a la senadora Caballero por su trabajo, al asambleísta Bloom, a otros miembros de la legislatura que no están hoy aquí, el señor asambleísta Eduardo García, que también ayudó, a la senadora de esta área, senadora Melissa Hurtado, que no está aquí, pero su personal está hoy aquí. Y también a la presidenta del Senado, la señora Tony Atkins, y al líder de la Asamblea, el señor Anthony Rendon.
Co-author. Was it easy to get that done in the Assembly?
It was anything but easy, I think. But it took your leadership to wrestle it to the ground and make this happen. And let me say how meaningful it is to be here with our hosts to actually talk about and experience the problem. We sit in Sacramento, and we have known for years that this is an issue, and an ongoing funding source was the thing that we argued over and just couldn't bring to a conclusion. We have that now, but it's so meaningful to sit here and hear not only about what we think about, which is what does it cost to make the connection to the city system and make the physical changes that are necessary, and then the critical piece is the ongoing operation and maintenance that we need to provide for so that these fixes that we know will work are there in perpetuity. But what we don't think about often in Sacramento is the personal costs that you've described for us here today, the money it took that it takes to dig the well deeper, to go even a little thing like going to the market and buying ice cubes instead of being able to make them in your refrigerator, and the indignity of having to go next door to get water in order to bathe yourself. And what touching story. You obviously are raising a wonderful child who would say, you know, I saved some water for you, Mom.
Le preguntó el gobernador a la asambleísta Bloom, dice, bueno, ¿qué tan difícil fue pasar esta propuesta en la legislatura y en la asamblea? Y dice, bueno, pues fue todo menos fácil. Dice, nosotros estamos en Sacramento, donde escuchamos, tenemos que ver a cuánto cuesta el programa, cómo se pasa por la legislatura. Dice, pero hoy me siento tan meaningful, me siento bien por estar hoy aquí y conocer un poquito más del impacto personal a familias que no tienen agua en Sacramento, porque nosotros pensamos de cuánto cuesta esto, le va a costar al Estado, cómo pasar esta ley, pero nunca pensamos en, por ejemplo, no poder ir a la tienda a comprar agua, no tener agua en la casa, cuánto cuesta hacer un pozo nuevo en nuestra comunidad. Obviamente estás criando, gracias, criando a un hijo muy bueno porque te dejó la mitad de la botella para el agua, dice, y normalmente no estamos aquí para ver esto. Lo más importante y lo más clave de esta propuesta es que estos fondos van a ayudar para pagar los costos de operación y mantenimiento en sistemas públicos, que no algo que nunca ha existido en ningún otro programa en California. What I added in Spanish to your operation and maintenance
Actually, it
costs
was a very good
is that
Please.
there is no other funding program in California today that will pay for the ongoing operation and maintenance costs of drinking water, and that is huge.
That's right. Senator, you've been at this, but from different perspectives. You were working in the Brown administration, obviously now as elected official representing one of the largest districts in the state and geographically, but one of the most impacted districts in the state as it relates to this issue.
It's true, it's true. Pues primeramente quiero agradecer a los dos por contar cosas muy importantes que el mundo tiene que escuchar, ¿verdad? Muchísimas gracias por dejarnos entrar a su casa y tener esta plática. Nos da un honor grandísimo. I thank them for sharing their stories with us and for allowing us to be here in their home because it gives us an opportunity to tell the world about how the challenges have been. And I did work for the Brown administration during one of the worst droughts that the state has ever seen, and I was part of a task force that came regularly out to the valley and worked really hard with local government and local residents, where there was a disconnect between people who owned the property and those that lived in rented units, and wells that were dry, and local governments that didn't take action and wouldn't cooperate, because as you know, Governor, it's local governments that have to deal with these disasters, and the state can come up behind and help, but it's local government that has to work. And so it was extremely frustrating as a bureaucrat to see how difficult it was to get water for people who were showing up every day to work, who had children that needed to go to school, and without running water, it's very, very difficult to maintain a family. And so for me, this is real personal. These are my families, and I really want to thank you for your leadership in this area as well, because you gave the legislature a challenge. Get this done. I want it on my desk, and I think the people that you see here and many others that are not here worked really hard to make the pieces fit, so that we do have the resources to be able to fix the system, maintain it, and to look at opportunities to hook communities up with a bigger base of ratepayers and a better water source. So I thank you for that, and I'm really honored to be here today to celebrate this signing.
La senadora trabajó con la administración del gobernador previo, Jerry Brown, dice, y en ese entonces formé parte de un comité que venía al valle hablar con, no nada más con residentes, pero también con gobiernos locales para estudiar pues cuáles son los problemas y cuáles son las soluciones. Y en esos momentos también nos dimos cuenta que había no había una conexión entre los gobiernos locales y las comunidades y lo que estaba pasando, y más las comunidades cuando uno es rentero o no es dueño de la propiedad, y cuáles impactos atrae a cuáles problemas entonces se introducen en la situación. Dice, yo trabajé para trabajar con comunidades. Esta área es mi comunidad, es mi familia. Yo aquí ella representa el distrito uno de los distritos más grandes de California. Y dice, estoy aquí porque sabemos que hay que ayudar, pero también sabemos que los gobiernos locales tienen que también tomar su responsabilidad y ayudar, y el Estado puede venir y ayudar detrás y ayudar en lo que pueda, pero los gobiernos locales también tienen que tomar acción para asegurarnos. Y se le agradezco al gobernador por su liderazgo y su apoyo. Usted le puso una meta a la legislatura. Quiero que pasen una propuesta, la quiero en mi escritorio para firmarla, y la legislatura tomó eso muy en serio, y por eso estamos hoy aquí.
Before I sign this, you want to say anything else? I mean, you've been at this, you've been a champion for years. Anything more that folks should know and understand about the magnitude of this challenge?
I started working, I'm from Parlier, just 10 minutes down the road. I grew up here. I've known
the water truck.
Water being delivered.
Right on cue. Well done.
I was coming.
Yeah.
También quería hablar sobre la cosa.
Sí.
Le dije que teníamos problemas.
She also wants to talk in a little bit about the septic tanks.
Oh, good.
Yeah, in the community. One of the...
Mete para la casa, vete y sale.
That's an issue.
Yeah, dice también it's also an issue and it contaminates our water.
The water
as
the
well.
septic tanks.
Yes.
A nosotros se nos ha salido para arriba.
Sometimes
adentro de la casa.
the well doesn't pump. So we need an equal
All right.
program,
Next
just like
problem.
this, for wastewater. Next challenge.
Next up.
When I started doing this work, the first community I started organizing in right after college was in the community of Lanier in Fresno County. At the time, Lanier had just received a $1.3 million grant from CDBG dollars from Fresno County to build a state-of-the-art arsenic treatment plant in the community. They had 3 times the level of arsenic in their water. The arsenic treatment plant was built. It only ran for 6 months, and the construction finalized in 2007. The plant has sat there since then, rotted away, because the community could not afford to operate and maintain the ongoing costs of treatment. Then people from Lanier, from communities like Tombstone, from community like East Orosi, like Cantua Creek, like Goshen, have come together to respond for a long-standing need for a fund that will pay for ongoing operation and maintenance costs. This is significant not just to me personally, and from the area and from here I've worked with communities, but this will help make sure that no other community meets the fate that Lanier met. That the funds will be there to make sure that they have the resources to have safe drinking water in their tap. And for those of us who open our tap in our homes and can drink that water or cook with it, that privilege, that we don't take that for granted. Today we're getting closer to making sure that millions of Californians have safe drinking water today. We thank you for your leadership. We thank you for your willingness to work with us, and we thank the Assembly member and the senators, community residents, Dolores Huerta, and so many others. It was a coalition of 140 organizations throughout the state who supported this. This was a monumental effort, and as you see, the impact here is tremendous. Thank you.
Could I add to that? I also want to thank you, the Governor, and all of you for listening to the residents. We have to thank those people that were relentless to make sure that the message got across. They went to Sacramento multiple times to get their message out there, and you listened. And so I want to thank you for that. And not only did you listen, but you're taking the action. You know, we're celebrating getting a man on the moon. Well, you might say that this was a simpler problem to resolve.
Yeah.
But it took so much effort, Senator Monning, years and years of trying to put this together, and you for finally making it happen. I mean, in a way, it really shows that the residents, when they're heard, government, you know, when it takes action
Yeah.
and you listen to people, that we can really create a better state and a better union and a better government
Yes,
and a better
I
country. So I want to thank you very much. Nomás estoy diciendo que yo le quiero dar también las gracias a todas las personas que fueron a Sacramento tiempo por tiempo por tiempo, llevando el mensaje de la necesidad para que se limpiara el agua. Y también darle las gracias a ellos porque escucharon lo que estaba pidiendo la gente y el gobernador por tomar esta acción. Estamos celebrando que pusieron una persona en la luna, ¿no? Pero este problema era más sencillo, pero duró casi una década para que se pudiera resolucionar. Así es que tenemos que darle las gracias a toda la gente que participaron, que pusieron la presión y también aquí a los legisladores y claro que al gobernador por tomar y hacer esta acción, que saliera una cosa que tanto tiempo se pidió,
Yeah. Sí, pues yo tengo 28 años de vivir aquí
been
y es
living here
el
for 28 years.
todo el
28
tiempo.
years.
Ya, es siempre batallar con lo mismo, pero nadie nos había hecho caso. ¿Con quién nos quejábamos?
28 years, nobody's ever listened. We didn't even know who to complain to.
Como es una comunidad pequeña,
We're a small community.
nadie te hace
Nobody
caso.
pays attention to you or listens to you.
Yeah.
And we're doing wastewater next legislative session. Y vamos a hacer drenaje, saben que en la próxima sesión.
Well, thank the Community Water Center, everybody, okay, and all of the organizations.
Gracias a todos.
There's the organizer in you, Bill.
Sí se puede.
¡Se pudo!
Sí se puede.
On that note, let's make this official.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Done.
This is yours, brother.
Gracias. Sign on there.
Well, after all that, any questions? Well, shall we? We'll make ourselves available. But thank you all.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
to all you have
Thank
here.
you for being
guys
here.
for making this
Gracias.
happen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Nothing I can say on top of all that.
Yeah, we'll come knocking on wastewater.
No, good.
No, we will.
No, we will.
Wastewater is septic tank issues are serious problem.
I get it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, we just make sure we use this money wisely. You got to deliver on this. Huh?
Guys, give us a second. Sorry about that.
They're smoking.
There's smoke, right? It's a good question.
Yeah, you turn it off, right?
We'll be mindful of that.
Okay.
You gotta watch yourself.
Are we good?
That sounds like it's good. All right, let's start. Yeah, sorry, guys. Okay.
Start with those.
Governor,
Oh, sorry. I'll get right back to it.
Yeah.
Or just ask.
Yeah, okay. So is 130 million going to be enough? What happens if not? And do you expect the water board to ramp up enforcement of nitrate contamination?
Well, we certainly hope $130 million is enough, but it's not. We'll adjust. I mean, this is a multi-year process, and it's going to unfold in very different ways depending on the communities, complexity, and what the systems look like. We have over 7,000 water systems in this state. We've got to consolidate. There's no capacity to operate and maintain, to treat these systems if they're not consolidated. So the first focus is consolidation, governance, technical assistance, providing this ongoing capital, which is crucial. There's nothing worse than groundbreaking, where you spend millions and millions of dollars, and as you heard, exampled by our conversation, people walk away because they can't afford to maintain it. And so this is significant. This is over $1 billion over the next decade that will be set aside for a purpose that's noble. I mean, the idea that we're living in a state with 1 million people that don't have access to clean, safe, affordable drinking water is a disgrace. This is the wealthiest state, the wealthiest democracy in the world. And it's happened on our watch. We own this. Those who want to criticize us are right. You know, we've been neglectful, and it's outrageous. And I'm really proud of the legislature. I'm proud of the work of the community and the advocacy that we've seen that created the conditions to get this thing done. But now we got to go to work, and we got to prove that this money is going to be wisely invested, and that's on me and the executive branch.
Governor, by signing this bill, does this signal that groundwater is a higher priority in cap and trade spending than high-speed rail?
I don't see them as necessarily competing. There are a lot of things in the cap and trade that I think deserve to be prioritized, but I don't put one necessarily above the other. I do foundationally believe that a state that cannot provide its citizens basic access to clean, safe drinking water, folks in positions of power and influence don't belong there if they cannot achieve that goal. And so I all but said that at the state of the state. Now, I didn't mean to offend folks, but I wanted to challenge folks with a deeper consciousness of what's happening in our state. And I'll tell you, I grew up in San Francisco. The last thing I ever thought about. I mean, there are tens of millions of people in California. What are they even talking about? We take it completely for granted. The first week I was in office, I took all of my department heads to Monterey Track Park, and we sat in a community center, and people are paying 2.5 times more for water in Monterey Track Park that they can't drink than folks in Beverly Hills. That's unconscionable. So this is a priority. Those other investments are priorities, but I don't want to pit one against the other.
Will high-speed rail fund be affected by 130 million?
Absolutely not. All these are set aside. The high-speed rail money is secure as it relates to its allocation, the 25% cap and trade. This did not dilute from that priority. Yep.
So, you're talking about it's time to get to work now, it's time to get this done. How do we stay accountable and make sure that it does get done? What about, for the people here in Newsom?
We've got to hold Joaquin and his team accountable, the State Water Board. They got a hearing on August 20th. It's an opportunity for people to participate and engage. They're putting a plan together. They've been working on this for some time. Candidly, there's been some real progress since 2000, I would argue 14, where we started to see some more investment and focus, but we didn't have the resources. So they're hitting the ground running on this. They're not just starting a process. This is a process now that's going to be significantly ramped up. And I just think it's important for the community to be present and say, you know what, you made those promises, you promoted things, but on the ground, things are happening or not happening. And that can't come from Sacramento. A guy lost in, the horseshoe, as we refer to it. That has to happen from folks in places like Tombstone. But by the way, I just want to say this is neither here nor there. Nothing in the budget makes me more proud than this. I'm dead serious about that. It's a $214 billion budget, and this $130 million is a point of deep pride. This answers, for some folks wonder why the hell you get in politics. This is the why. Forgive me.
I was going to ask you about Modesto. I don't know if you heard about Modesto
This morning?
Yeah, about the straight pride.
No, what happened? Oh, geez. Straight pride?
Yeah,
because the straight community's really suffered over the last century, haven't they?
Yeah,
people like me have really been burdened.
Well, what do you tell the city council members?
I roll my eyes and say we should focus on safe, clean drinking water and poverty rates, income inequality, not, I think, the absurdity of getting some attention on one of the news networks.
So we talked about your meeting in Coalinga last night. What you guys talked about?
Well, you know everything. I appreciate it. I was in Coalinga. I've been around. I'm going to go see the oil spill in a moment. Look, I said this from the outset. I care about California. You can't care about California unless you care about Central Valley. I want to prioritize the Central Valley. You've seen me out here on multiple occasions. I'm committed to this part of the state. I rejoiced. I sent around, there was a wonderful article, I think, in one of the national newspapers about Bakersfield and how it's just taking off. I saw a wonderful report about Bitwise in Fresno and how they just got a $20+ million investment and all the excitement that's going on with young folks and coding. I mean, there's just another story to be told out here. So we were talking about all those things. We were talking about water, of course. We were talking about regulation, broadly defined. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the attention this community deserves and how we need to elevate the conversation about what's going right in the Central Valley.
Governor, take us through, we got your report yesterday and your press release. Take us through your hopes and dreams for the Department of Motor Vehicles going forward.
Well, God bless you. I was in Lodi yesterday, and true story, 47 minutes, got my new real ID, and legitimately, I know you're all thinking, governor guy walks in and it's all set up. You're not going to get it. I know you have no reason to believe me. Now, I confess, a few people may have noticed, but I got my it was F40. I sat in the chair with about 100 other folks, and we were out of there in a reasonable amount of time, and so that was encouraging. But as you know, today, there's what we call a stand-down. The DMV is closed in all of its field offices for the first time, arguably in history, for a deep training. We've never done this. We're getting serious about the DMV. I don't want to overpromise. It's going to take us many years, but it's the retail face of government, and you deserve more there as well. We've invested an extraordinary amount of time and money into improving the operations. It's going to be a multi-year process, but no, we're on that case as well, and the DMV has been long neglected, not intentionally. There's been other priorities, but it's self-evident for anyone that's had a bad experience there.
And Governor, you've been criticized for using a tax to fund this bill, but other people are saying there's a big surplus that you could go into, and a lot of critics are just questioning the money that's being used for the tax, especially those who opposed it back in Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and forgive me, I don't mean to be critical of the argument. I just think it falls flat for one reason. Surpluses are not ongoing. We'd love them to be. They're usually one time. Surpluses come and go. When they go, what are you going to do to address the issue that we're trying to address, which is not capital infusion, but ongoing investment? So by definition, their argument is, I think, misleading and weak at best. Forgive me.
Governor, are you going to sign the bill requiring presidential candidates to disclose?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, Democrats and Republican and the governor of California, whoever wants to run for governor, 5 years, their tax return. I've got. Let me tell you just very briefly about my processing on that. I've been reaching out to a number of constitutional lawyers, a number of law professors, to try to understand the constitutionality of this, to understand the consequences. Is it just about the primary? Is it going to impact potentially the general election? So we are deeply analyzing that bill, and I actually have a number of lawyers that are looking at provisions in that bill to suss out where I'll end up on. But I have till, I think, Tuesday to make a decision.
Governor,
that's on Trump's tax returns, as some have referred to.
Since we're on the topic of water, obviously there's a need for clean, safety water as well, but there also is a need of water storage. And one thing we're talking about is temperance flat.
Yeah.
Do we see any funding with regards to that? Because there's a need for water storage for these farmers and stuff.
No, I appreciate it. It's interesting, and forgive me, it was one of the conversations we had last night was about temperance. We also were discussing sites up where now Governor Brown is retired. And the fact that sites was prioritized by the Water Board in terms of its investment in the utilization of that bond, the $7.5 billion bond, $2.7 billion was set aside for storage. Temperance was lower on that list, and that's created a lot of frustration. Trust me, I heard it last night. I'm not opposed to above ground storage. I'm not ideological about these things. My gosh, I was mayor of San Francisco. Its entire water system is 167-mile gravity-fed system from an above-ground storage facility called Hitchechi. So I'm for good investments, wise investments. They're making a strong argument of temperance. The challenge we have is that bond prioritized other projects at a higher level, and there's still billions of dollars of financing that's needed to make that happen. So we'll look to see what we can do, but I don't want to overpromise on temperance, but I think sites is moving at a pace where it may be the first large-scale above-ground storage project in the state in some time, and that is something that currently has a little more momentum.
Time for one more question. Governor's update on your position on SB 277.
Which one's 270? I can't keep up with
the
all these numbers.
vaccinations.
Oh, well, I worked with Senator Pan on that. He made a lot of amendments pursuant to my to the counsel that I received from my Health and Human Service Agency and others. Remember, it's interesting. You learn this as a former mayor, as governor. I have to implement all this. And the bill, before it was amended, was going to be challenging to implement. So we made a series of recommendations. They accepted those recommendations. I'm hearing from some that have additional things they may want to see in that bill, and I'm working with Senator Pan, but we're making progress on it. I don't want to conclude where I'll land on it, but know that Senator Pan was very generous in those amendments. It took a lot from our administration, which suggests that I would be more inclined to support it.
There's concern from the homeschool community that they may be next.
Sorry, one second. I'm happy. I'll answer
Just
last.
to follow up, there's concern from the homeschool community that they may be next. What would you say to the homeschool community?
Look, I'm just opposed to abuses. People have legitimate issues. Those legitimate issues should be addressed. I have friends of mine that have given me very detailed reasons why their case is strong and why they have every right to get an exemption. So, look, I'm not opposed to legitimate exemptions. What I am opposed to is doctors that get paid to just do blanket exemptions that aren't based on fact or science. And there's a lot of evidence, I've looked into this, of people doing that. I believe in vaccinations. I vaccinated my children. I think it's important. But I believe there are unique circumstances where people certainly have the right to get an exemption, and what we're trying to do is address the abuses in this bill by not being punitive, and I know others feel differently on that. Sorry.
What's your opinion about Oakland, that is a sanctuary city, and airport is being used to do deportations?
Well, that's look, I support sanctuary policy and long supported it as former mayor of San Francisco. I really applaud the work of Mayor Libby Schaaf in Oakland, who's been a champion and an advocate, strong advocate, for sanctuary policy. The issues going on at our courts, not just our airports, are of real concern. There's some legislation pending that I hope gets to my desk to continue to advance the principles of SB 54, our statewide sanctuary policies. There's certainly areas where we can make improvements. And that's our last one.
Just want to get a reaction on the Bob Mueller testifying in Congress today.
Yeah, I didn't get the benefit of listening all of it because I was driving over here and focused on it. I did hear a little bit. I'm looking forward to the punditry from you on it. But Bob, he's a tough guy to get to answer questions. That's all I could say on that. But I didn't listen to it. Thank you guys.